All right, guys, bootleg open here. We got Jesse texted us late, 15 minutes late. Today's the only day I actually have stuff to do after the pod, so I thought, hey, we'll just start it solo without him. He'll be here for the majority of the show. He's going to come walking in. Honestly, as soon as I started doing this, I thought 50-50 shot he's going to come in and be very upset we started without him. So it could be an awkward episode, or he'll just take it in stride. I also thought he was dying yesterday on his live stream. Sounded like he had COVID or something crazy. So I didn't think he was going to come in at all today, but he is. Um, Anyways, I wanted to touch on one subject I actually think is fairly interesting right now, and it's not something I believed in a whole lot. Um, until I actually started digging in. I've been doing a lot of YouTube content consumption, which is a mistake. You get down these stupid rabbit holes of card content. And I've been joining Professor Sports Cards. Of course, we do our couple of YouTube shows. And one thing that like guys continue to bring up, and I'm actually starting to think there's something which this has been a truth forever. Hey, if a product releases June 1st, sell everything immediately. And if you want to buy it back, just let things settle. Um, like Topps Finest Baseball came out a couple months ago. Hey, you're going to have some vet autos that are going to sell really, really high. The star rookie autos will come out and they'll sell really, really high. But it's like, regardless of what the player does, and I pulled two good examples Cam Smith and Pete Crow Armstrong and Matt Shaw. Three guys who have played pretty well this year. Cam Smith has been playing really well. Matt Shaw's pricing's been excellent. Pete Crow as well. He's cooled off a little bit. But at the time of Topps Finest, those guys were all very, very hot. Young guys, prospects, rookies, kind of a little bit of each. And it is interesting. It's the same across the board with all these new releases. As soon as these things come out, almost across the board, you just sell them. There are a couple different examples, two real main examples. If you hit Chrome draft guys or prospect guys that are dirt cheap, there's never any reason to sell a $2 prospect auto. It's not going to go down any further. And what's the point in making $2? Hold it, see if the guy pops like a Peyton Tolley or a Jonas Song, or even, Judge was years removed before he finally popped. So throw that out of there entirely. And then unbelievable, like super short print legend type stuff. You pull a Tom Brady auto that's crazy low numbered, or a super short print one of a kind type of Derek Jeter or Griffey card. Hold that as well. Like you don't have to sell it anytime soon. But it is interesting in looking at almost all the rest of this stuff. Everything goes down, which again is not a new thought. People have been in the hobby long enough. We've known, hey, release day, everybody wants their stuff immediately on resale. Everybody runs to eBay quickly, and then things drop. But it is dramatic how much things drop. Cam Smith is a perfect example. I think Cam Smith is like second or third in Rookie of the Year voting in the AL odds right now. He's behind Kurtz is going to win the thing, and Roman Anthony up until he got hurt was number two. Cam Smith right there in the mix has had an excellent season, particularly about a month ago when Finest came out. His base rookie autos were $200. Now they average like 125. I was looking at this as well because I think tomorrow we have Panini One football. That's an awesome premium high end product. I started looking back over the years, and it's like it's unbelievable the massive drop from release day to 2, 3, 4 weeks later. Stuff just totally drops. And again, the difference being some of the big rookies, especially in a product like a Panini One, you know, Tua came out, for example, in 2020, selling through the roof. And if you look about a month, 2 months later, really having done nothing to improve or hurt his stock, the pricing just drops dramatically. The vets are a little bit more stable. Like if you hit a Jim Kelly, the first couple might sell for 150, then they drop to 130. Who cares? But it is interesting because this came up in a recent piece of content. And it was like, hey, how do you continue to push this as a breaker? How do you keep pushing all these products if you know what you are opening is going to drop? And it is almost like a weird ethical, not ethical, I don't know, ethical or moral dilemma is probably overstating it. But I guess that's why we try to emphasize quite a bit of if you're not in it to PC the stuff, sell it immediately. If you're going to sell anything you hit in a break, do it immediately because it's going to almost always drop right after. There are some standout things like I mentioned. There's also sets that come out that are iconic, that do really, really well almost instantly. But sell your stuff. Like I think there's always this big fear of like, hey, we want to see what it does. We want to, is this guy's going to hold value? Well, he might even play well. The thought of hype over performance has always been true as well. But it is funny. Like I start going down these little wormholes, and it's like, man, hype is it. Like that is the number one thing. Hype and timing. It was remarkable because again, I'm not new to the hobby. I've been around for 15 years. I've been doing it full time for 10 years, and it's wild to me that it is still that way. Like 10 years ago, we talked about this. Hey, if you're ripping tier one, sell the A-Rod auto today, buy it back for 30% cheaper. It's the same margin and the same number. The numbers are just bigger. Now the box costs more. The singles sell for more. The drop is also a bigger amount because now instead of it being a $100 card, it's a $200 card. Instead of going from 100 to 70, it's going from 200 to 140. So I think the percentages are about the same, but it is interesting. And then it kind of makes me wonder, well, how do you combat that? Like, is lower box price a thing? Because another thing I've noticed with wax, this is the first time we've consistently seen over about a 2 to 3 month period product consistently being cheaper a month out from release. What's happened with Topps Finest, which is actually impressive because Topps Finest is never cheaper. The last few years of Finest have been unbelievable. Last year, I think, is still, I don't know, $500-600 a box. This stuff got up to 450, almost 500. Now it's like 375. Topps Chrome, all three SKUs, Hobby, Jumbo, Breakers Delight, dramatically fell off right after the release and have stayed that way. And it's interesting, like this little lull we're in. We don't generally get a lull after the national. Like we get one leading up to the national, guys want to save their money. We get one at the end of the year, people celebrate different holidays, whatever they're doing, they save their money then too. But it is kind of weird. It's almost, and I've had a number of guys mention this, which is why I started kind of doing a little bit more of a dive into this. And it does start to make you think, like, man, do guys just see this happening and they're like, you know what? Um, it's just not worth. By the way, Jesse just messaged. He's not going to be here until 12:25. We might just do this whole show solo without Jesse. Then, um, it does make you start to think though, like how sustainable is this? I'm not talking about the hobby. I don't think the hobby is going anywhere. I think it's sustainable. It's going to be for everything. Um, we'll have ups and downs, and that's fine. But specifically with like wax and breaking, it does start to make you think, hey, at what point, if I know things are going to be cheaper anyways, as a secondary buyer of singles, why not just wait? And then it's like the chain reaction. Well, if you're going to wait to buy the single's not worth as much. We don't have the initial hype around like the first couple sales. And so maybe then the box price won't be as much. We've often said like breakers control. People have said this. I don't necessarily agree, but they do play into it. That man, breakers really control box pricing. And if breakers just disappeared, what would happen? Well, everything would be cheap again. Probably to a degree. Like you'd have a lot more wax left over because the market couldn't sustain the amount of wax that is being ripped by breakers going somewhere else. I also think though you would see a huge decline in single sales. Like if the boxes aren't that big, it's not like it's just not going to be. I just think if the box price isn't that big, the hits won't be that big. If the hits aren't that big, I don't know what comes first. It's almost like a chicken egg situation, and I really don't know the answer to that. I'm thrown off here. Jesse's texting now. I thought he was still sick from his stream, so I think I'm probably just going to head home and do the rest of the show there, and we'll just log in and do our thing. But it is interesting. Like I said, like there's just certain times of the year. It's like it's one thing when there's like a slow week or whatever, but when there's a slow couple of months on the wax side, it's always weird to me. Like, well, what's causing this? And then what's the reaction to singles? This is one of the few times though the singles markets are up almost across the board, like all the indices, whatever the stupid word is, on Card Ladder, everything is up. We're seeing like again institutional type money, Kevin O'Leary, and I know people hate him, but that type of money come in. People are talking about cards on other platforms, and even just like regular singles are doing really, really well. The singles auctions on eBay have been doing really well, and yet we're still seeing like this real decline with box pricing, which is just strange. Some of it for sure is due to the lack of the rookie class. Like the 2025 rookie class is okay. It's not amazing. We don't have Roman Anthony and stuff. Kurtz is just starting to really hit. Drake Baldwin hasn't been consistently in stuff yet. So I get that. The basketball thing is weird. Basketball and football, it's like I can only get autos with tops, but Panini stuff is the ideal brand because it has logos, but there's no big license. Like there's no big auto chases. It is kind of like this weird time in the hobby, though, when for the first time ever, because I've always said they always do the same. If wax goes up, singles go up. When singles come down, wax comes. And I don't even think one follows the other. I think they just follow each other. But it's kind of funny right now that wax is really, really strong. Like going to, I was talking to guys last night in the live stream, going to whatnot rooms right now. People are like really slow. I mean, we're not exempt from this either. Sports Card Nonsense breaking on Fanatics Live has been extremely slow the past month or two, which again, I think is mainly a result of product. But then I look at our single shows on eBay and it's like, man, singles are killing it. So is it just like, hey, guys are starting to think that, like, let's go to a little more towards single than breaking for the time being because they don't like the product? Or are we starting to see maybe a big shift of, hey, you know what? If we do this long enough, box pricing will have to reflect a little bit of a slowdown in demand, and then the pricing will come down. I don't know the answer. I really don't. Um, the other thing we started talking about, and Jesse's alluded to this a few times, is there's like really big stuff that is consistently selling higher now than it has in a while. Um, I'm not saying this is, and we talked about the COVID thing last time, which Jesse may or may not have right now, quite frankly. I don't know what he's dying from. Um, when COVID hit, initially the very first thing was Michael Jordan. The Michael Jordan market in particular was the catalyst for everything. Yes, it was the rookies, and we had some unbelievable $600,000 sales of PSA 10s, which we've never touched again. But it was then every grade really, really went up. All the inserts went up. All the autos went, like the Jordan market went through the roof. And then it was, okay, who are Jordan's peers, so to speak? Okay, LeBron stuff goes nuts. Kobe stuff, Allen Iverson, all these other all-time greats. And then it was even like more of a spillover effect of like, well, who else was great that doesn't get the love? Hakeem. Look at Hakeem 90s inserts. They went nuts at the time. Tim Duncan stuff went nuts. Shaq went nuts. All these things. Vintage stuff, of course. Wilt, Bill, Jerry West rookies through the roof. And then we saw like a real spillover into other sports, and it was the Grails first. So the Mantle rookies, the Mays rookies, Hank Aaron, Griffey, by the way, and then it kind of spilled down. The only reason I bring this up is it is weird. Jordan, I've sold 4 Jordans in the last month, call it a little less than a month. A PSA 4, a PSA 5, a PSA 8, and a PSA and a BGS 8.5. All have sold significantly higher than comps 3 months ago, and they're in line with comps today. I then started looking because I've got the two Mays rookies I've talked about. Me and Frank Mello bought those together. We bought a PSA 6 1951 Bowman Mays at the height of COVID. We bought a 1952 PSA 5 Willie Mays. So both rookies. Way, way down since then. We bought them at the height. Those things are both significantly moving up lately. We've seen that with the mantle market. Jesse pointed this out. Jesse's really the one who turned me onto this whole story, and I started digging a little deeper. What's weird is now, too, Ken Griffey Jr., particularly his rookie stuff. Upper Deck, of course, is always going to be the first. All these other rookies of his, way, way just more valuable now than they ever were. And it's interesting because, like, the Griffey card, for example, I think there's 4,000. I'm going to try to type in my computer, even though my phone's balanced here like an idiot. I believe there are like 3 or 4,000 1989. This is a real bootleg episode, by the way. I'm on a laptop. We're live from the phone. It's a joke show, but we're having fun. I'm looking this up real quick. The PSA 10 Griffey, Upper Deck rookie. Yeah, those things right now. If you look at the chart on these cards, like ridiculous. But the pop is 4,300. I bring up pop because like you think of Jordans, like the big Jordans, the PSA 10s move from 50,000 to 500, 600,000 when they really spike. They 10x, but there's 300. A 300 card market can be affected very easily by a few sales. The Griffey card has 4,300 in a pop, and if you were to scroll through card ladder sold listings, there's not a day in the past. So I went back all the way to August 1st. So over a month, there's not one single day where there haven't been at least two of these cards sold. I've never seen a card that has that kind of pop, 4,300, of an iconic player. I think he's the most iconic player in baseball cards ever now at this point. How did that card go from $2,500 at the beginning of the year to being up 70%? That's just, that is an insane jump. Griffey obviously has not done anything. He's been retired for years. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He didn't die. Nothing happened. But it's crazy that that card in particular has gone so high now, and they're so readily available. Like, you could make an argument with some of the big, big stuff. It's like, oh, well, certain guys are propping up sales, and you only need to prop up a couple sales because there's not a lot of cards. A crazy logo man or some of these huge cards. If you buy one or two, you can prop up the entire market. There's almost 4,500 of these. Nobody is propping up this market. So I just, and somebody said yesterday, and maybe there is some truth. I think Sports Card Dad, I think Dustin may have said this originally, and then Jason, the professor, said this afterwards, is that the guys are getting out of new stuff and they're going back to like these vintage type cards. It's not to say a 1989 Ken Griffey Jr. card is vintage, but at this point, it's 36 years old. It's not a new card. Quite frankly, it's on the verge of being vintage to most players, to most guys. I mean, like this is the first card I remember from my childhood being the card. And he's like, man, I think it was Dust. I think I don't want to misquote anybody, but one of the two guys had said, I've had a couple buddies sell their Jaden Daniels or they've sold their Nick Kurtz stuff because one of these guys is really high, but an unproven kid, and they're throwing their money back into stuff like the Griffey card because it's a very safe market. Even that is very, very reminiscent of the COVID days. When guys first got in during COVID, people who knew nothing, that's what they did. So I think it's interesting. I think we're going to see people with money continue to get back into the hobby like we did in COVID. Some people will inevitably come in because there are big mouths outside the hobby talking about things. But if we're also going to see people in the hobby sell their Bo Nix or their Drake May because they're worth a ton of money, they're very unproven, and I'm going to go back and get a Griffey card. I just wonder what that starts to do to the market. And I think, and I've said this before too, I think we're a lot smarter now. Like, I don't want to see prism based stuff or optic base cards go through the roof and be nuclear. But if you're going to tell me like my Griffey 90s refractors, PSA 10s that are all low pops, 10x, I can actually kind of see that. And selfishly, I hope that happens. If you're going to tell me the Brady market's going to really improve, we just did an episode talking about the best quarterbacks of all time, not as it relates to the hobby, just on field. If you're going to tell me, like, hey, guys are going to sell off new unproven stuff because it's expensive and go back and buy Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers, and that's going to make that go up, like, I could see that as well. This is a super long winded way of saying, I really think we're going to see something significant in terms of overall market movement over the next few months. I would be very, very observant of what's happening in the market going forward, and I would be very, very careful. Like, I just think you don't want to be the dude who in 2021 was buying stuff for all-time highs and then thinking you're going to hold it and make some money, and then 2023, end of 22, and then 23 came around, and you got caught holding the bag. So let me just leave with that. Just a couple other quick show notes. I thought this was funny. I had a picture of this. This was from a show, some lake show somewhere. I screenshot it now. Of course, I can't find it. I saw this on Sports Card Investor. They did the same thing, and basically, it's a couple show promoters now making signs and sending out flyers and emails like this. And this is one that SCI had screenshotted. It says, any customers that are caught trying to sell cards, buy cards, or make deals with cards with any other customers without buying a table will be thrown out. Let me just say this. If you're a show promoter and that's your thinking, you don't want people doing business on the side and these side hustles, couple things. Number one, you're a total moron. Very, very clear. Number two, you're an idiot. Like, I'm not sure what the distinction is there, but you deserve to be called both. Number three, why would you want to do anything to prohibit people from coming in? Who cares? If you're a show promoter worth your weight in anything, you're making money right now, because everybody is. Shows are like all-time popular high. Every show sells out. You're making good money for your tables. If it's a big enough show, you're getting sponsors in there as well. Why do you care if Tim and Ryan are over there trading a card in the hallway? They're at your show, and they're not just setting up to do that deal. They're probably going to walk the floor. They're probably going to buy and sell and transact with people at the show. Sometimes I wonder, and I shouldn't, because I always say don't underestimate stupidity and greed, because you can't. And this is a perfect example of that. Why would you do anything to deter people from coming to your show? For any reason. It's just stupid. Like, there's a reason trade nights are crazy popular. People just like to be around and freelance. Just let them do it. Like, it's not like they're setting up on your table. I saw this, and I was immediately just incensed at the stupidity of it. It's just dumb. If I can find the actual show name, and by the way, if you're one of these show promoters that does that, here's some free promotion for you. You're probably too dumb to take it. You can come on the podcast and try to justify this to me. Come on, use our audience. Tell me why you think this is a good idea. I'll give you the microphone. But I saw this and I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. So a couple of the notes and I'm going to get out of here because it's a train wreck of a show and it's going to be short. Too bad. Number one, massive, the biggest break we're going to have with any of our guys breaking with us on eBay Live goes live tonight. BWA Cards, Brian and the group, they're doing a full case of 2020 Prism football. They're starting every team. It's random teams. They're starting it at $1. That's a $30,000 case. Burrow, Hurts, Jordan Love, Burrow, Hurts, Herbert, Jordan Love, Tua, Justin Jefferson. It's an insane case. But that's pretty cool. That's one you don't actually see broken a whole lot. I think that's pretty cool. So if you want to get in on that, BWA Cards live tonight, Thursday night on eBay Live. I think that's going to be awesome. I'll be doing my Sundays. That's just going to be my thing every week now. Sunday singles on eBay Live. If you want to consign your stuff with me, we had probably 10 people reach out and send a handful. Fantastic. If you want to sell your stuff to me so I can sell it, great. But we're going to keep pushing that. We're also going to be live on Fanatics Live every night of the week from now through Sunday. Either me or Eddie will be live over there. So we're trying to ramp up. It's slow, so we're trying to kind of grind it out and put the hours in. I did have an interesting observation. I talked to my buddy Nelson, too, and he actually had taken some detailed notes. It's crazy. The $50 to $500 stuff over there seems to be the real sweet spot. That and then super high end. The Jordan rookies, some big stuff like that. That seems to really do well. So I think that's kind of the ballpark we're going to stay in. I'll be interested too. It's obviously opening night. The other thing over on eBay Live is we're going to start doing a 30-minute just live content show. If you want to get involved in it's literally going to be StreamYard. So you just join the StreamYard link, and we're going to just broadcast it over on the eBay Live channel under Sports Cards and Nonsense. I've got to kind of figure out what we're going to do. eBay's going to help with some of the content, maybe some sellers that'll come on and talk. But it's not going to be a show where we're going to talk about what are you selling tonight, that type of thing. Although we will promote some stuff. But I'm going to need rotating guests. So we're going to need the couch of just rotating co-hosts. So if that's something you're interested in, just email me, Mike@sportscardsnonsense.com. And yeah, I think I'm just going to try a bunch of different people with a bunch of different areas of expertise and see if we can't make something that's halfway entertaining. So there's that. Tomorrow's a big release day. The first Hops boxing product in 15 years or whatever it is. Eddie will have that on Fanatics Live. I have Impeccable Baseball tomorrow on Fanatics Live. I love Impeccable Baseball, and I've been pretty complimentary of Panini lately, although it's funny, when I compliment them, they don't seem to text like they do when I complain about them, but that's fine. I don't really care. Release checklist, people. Not that hard. It's 2025. You can release a checklist before the day of the product. I don't understand why we can't do that. That's ridiculous to me. So I think Impeccable is going to be great. I think Boys of Summer, like I said, last week was great. You've been doing some good things. Silhouette Basketball's been good. Just release a freaking checklist. It is not that difficult. Put the checklist out for the public. That does nothing but help people buy your product. So, there you go. If Jesse is alive, he'll be here Monday.
The Lake Worth card show is the people who put out that.
Lake Worth?
Yeah, and
Where is that?
It's honestly so funny, the whole message they put out.
It's a huge post, right?
It's like a little novel.
What else? Did they say anything as to why?
They just said it's an epidemic. They referred to it as an epidemic.
Just to be clear, the Black Plague, COVID,
it's in
hundreds of thousands
Florida.
of people dying is an epidemic.
And this is South Florida, which is, of course, it's Florida. Sorry.
Yeah, no shock. It was either going to be there or Cape Cod.
Actually
Bunch
caught
of
two
yuppie
guys
losers.
buying and selling cards in the bathroom. I do not give a how you reword it or explain it. This is stealing.
I mean, I don't need guys trading slabs in a bathroom, but I don't need them kicked out of a show for trading in a hallway. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Just who cares? But I agree. I'm actually with them on this one. No trading in a bathroom. If I'm in a urinal, I don't need somebody trying to hand me a Tom Brady slab. What a weirdo. All right. That's your show. We'll be back Monday. The owner of Ludex comes on, Brian Luden. It's not going to be a super promotional piece or even a total interview. Brian is the guy who runs his company. Ludex runs the lounge at the National, the VIP lounge. And the reason he's coming on, I just think he has a cool story. I met him and I was like, oh, this must be like a tech nerd hobby guy who wanted to make it a profession. Totally the opposite of his backstory. So I just think he has a cool backstory. So we'll talk to him about that and just kind of how he finds the hobby to be as a fairly new person in the hobby. So we've got him on Monday. Christina, who was supposed to join today but couldn't because of the train wreck, she will join on Thursday to talk. I think she said she has a bunch of stats and market moving stuff and things to talk about. So we'll do that on Thursday, and I'm sure we'll talk football this weekend. So there you go. Check out the YouTube channel. Still releasing daily YouTube shows. We're getting a little bit more traction over there, which is kind of nice. Anything else I'm supposed to be promoting, Rebecca? The eBay Live stuff every night, Fanatics Live every night. I think that's it. Maybe.
Yeah,
there's a newsletter.
New show coming probably next week with Gordy.
Oh, yeah. Am I announcing that?
Sure.
There you go. There's your announcement until I hear further. Perfect.
It's been teased a little, so.
There you go. A show with a guy next week. Perfect. All right. There's your show. Sports Cards and Nonsense. We will be back on Monday. Goodbye.